Hey, how's it going everybody, and welcome back to another Fallout 4 mod review. That's right, you read the title correctly. It is now time for the public Nexus release of my lever action shotgun. It's been a long time coming. It's technically been done for a while now, though I was waiting on that awesome quest integration by Jagged Josh, and it is now here. So there is now a full release available on the Nexus and an Xbox port coming sometime very, very soon. Now, we'll go ahead and start with the really cool details of the final release, but before we begin, I do want to give a special shout out to Uthar C, who has gone ahead and contributed to a tier 3 patron membership. That is super awesome. Thank you so much. And of course, a big shout out to all of my existing patrons. You guys are amazing. There have been a couple of changes over on the Patreon, so if that's something that interests you, it is completely optional, but the link will be down in the description below if you're looking to further support the channel. With all that out of the way though, let's go ahead and begin with the lever action shotgun. That's right, now with the final release, everything is in place, all of the attachments, leveled integration, a newly added quest, and a unique variant of the weapon that can be found, making it, I think, my most complete mod package yet. Honestly, I'm really happy with how this one came out. Just about everything I wanted to implement has been implemented, and I think it all came out great. The weapon itself is going to be a lever action shotgun made mostly of real firearm parts, though some of it has been handmade, as though somebody had to kind of cobble it together from a mostly functioning firearm to a fully functioning one. And this even includes some really cool makeshift parts over at the weapons workbench and some really funny makeshift iron sights using the end of a fork as your front post, and I think that's just really neat. If you want to get your hands on this weapon, it will be added to the leveled list and will spawn just about everywhere on raiders, gunners, settlers, just about everywhere that the double barrel shotgun could spawn after level 8. So this definitely is intended to be used in the earlier game. It has a similar damage profile of the combat shotgun, though of course this one is lever action and has a bit more accuracy and range. That being said, you will be trading off the fire rate given that, again, this is a lever action. But on the plus side, you do get access to a couple of unique ammo types that the vanilla shotguns do not. This weapon also has some unique interactions with different custom animation mods, and we'll get into that in just a second, but first of all, let's go ahead and check this thing out in-game so we can take a look at the stats. So here is by far the most basic version of my handmade lever action shotgun with a short stock, short barrel, and standard receiver. This thing has a base damage of 50, it scales with the rifleman perk, uses shotgun shells as its ammunition, has a fire rate of 5 given that it is lever action, a range of 119, an accuracy of 148, a weight of 10.5 pounds, and a value of 69 caps. And here is a look at the weapon in full 3D. You can see that it has a pretty generic lever action shotgun receiver, though it has some handmade pieces like the lever itself, the bolt holding it together, and of course those really unique iron sights, which makes for a pretty interesting little package, but you can take it even further over at the weapons workbench. But first, let's talk about animations. Now then, by default, this weapon does use the vanilla lever action animations from the left side. However, it does have built-in support for any lever action reanimations you download, including right-handed reanimations. For example, in this video, I am using Hitman's right-handed lever action mod, and it works perfectly. I'll go ahead and show that now. And this does even have support for the bullet counted reload mod, so if you only want to fire a couple of shots, then that works just fine too. Though if you're going to use both of these mods in tandem, you are going to need to grab the patch for it to work correctly. Now, before we move on and check out all of the really unique attachments available in this mod, there is one more thing to talk about, and that is the unique variant included with this weapon. Now, to avoid spoilers, if you want to find this thing on your own by actually finding it in-game, go ahead and skip to the time above on the screen now to avoid all spoilers, but for those of you who do want to know the location of the weapon, go ahead and stay tuned. So, if you want to get your hands on the unique variant of this weapon, you're going to need to head over to 10 Pines Bluff, the settlement at the north of the map, and just north of there you'll find the body of a dead raider. Next to him is a basic variant of the handmade lever action, and on his body you may find a note that says to find Darcy. Go ahead and pick up that note, and it has a nice little message that reads, "If you're reading this, the chances are that I am dead. I've been searching for days trying to find my Darcy. Tracked down the thieves to a camp a few steps north, but I was too late. Please find her before something terrible happens. Alluding to the idea that Darcy is somebody that this Wastelander is trying to find, but that's not exactly the case. If you head just to the north like the note suggests, you will find a handful of raiders camped under the overpass, and from there you should be able to get your hands on Darcy. You'll also notice a newly added NPC known as Dak. If we take off the helmet and cage armor, well, doesn't really look like me, but he's there. So simply head inside our little shack here, and you will find Darcy added to this here safe. And there she is. Darcy is all yours, complete with a newly added mesh that features some really cool parts to make this a plasma-infused shotgun. It also includes a nice gold skin with some engraving. Pretty fun one to make. Now then, let's talk about the attachments over at the weapons workbenches. There is a good bit of fun stuff you can do here. Starting with the receivers, they are pretty basic, going from standard up to advanced, just some simple damage modifiers. All of the other stats are going to be found on the different attachments included, like the barrels, where we have the option for a short and long barrel. Long obviously giving you better range and accuracy at the cost of weight. For stocks, we have a handful of options with the short stock, the wire stock, which is a nice improvised long stock, the standard full stock, the marksman stock, which has a nice cheek rest, and then the gunslinger stock. Now the gunslinger stock has some added shotgun shells that will allow you to reload the weapon faster. So if you don't like that lengthy reload, throw this on to get a nice little buff to your reload speed. For sights, we have the standard iron sights made of a nice ring sight and a fork. We also have the handmade reflex sight, which is made out of a spoon and some electronics. Thank you to Pig for the initial NIF for that. We also have the option to add on all of the other reflex sights in the game, like the standard compact reflex sight, the tactical reflex sight from the 44, and the enclosed reflex sight from the 10mm pistol. We also have the option to add on a laser sight. And this is going to take this section of the scope and have a modified firing mode so that you actually use the laser from the laser sight to aim your weapon. Might sound a bit odd, but I can show it off right after this to see exactly what that looks like. This is the laser that will be featured in my attachment pack, by the way. So you'll get to see this attachment on vanilla weapons at some point in the near future. And then finally, we have the short scope. Now, this is no ordinary short scope. As you can see, we have a pair of binoculars on it. And this is just to poke a little bit of fun at the idea that in the vanilla game, we have the option for a short, medium, and long scope on a shotgun of all things. So I provided only a short scope, and this thing is a fully functional pair of binoculars. It doesn't actually help you aim or give you any pinpoint accuracy. It's just binoculars. Some increased zoom, but it's still the spread of a shotgun. I'll show that off along with the laser sight right after this. Then for muzzles, we have the option for no muzzle, a compensator, a muzzle brake, and a bayonet, which is going to be a mighty large bayonet in the form of the one from the Nuka World DLC. And then we have the tube section, which is essentially your magazine capacity. We have the short tube, which is going to give you 5 shells. We have the gunslinger's tube, which is going to make you reload faster. Long tube will give you 8 shells, and then the long gunslinger tube will give you 8 shells and a faster reload. Now, the gunslinger tubes do stack with the gunslinger stock, so if you put them both on, you're going to be reloading this weapon very, very fast. So if you don't like the length of that lever action speed, throw them both on for a good old time. And then finally, we have the ammo section, where we have the standard buckshot rounds, the Dragon's Breath, which is the incendiary rounds, the Rail Spike Slug, which is essentially a standard shotgun slug, except you're shooting out the rail spike from the railway rifle. We have the bottle cap coin shot, so it's going to be a standard coin shot, giving you some better damage, but using bottle caps instead of coins, since that is the currency of the wasteland. And then we have screw flechettes, which is going to give you some armor-piercing effects to this weapon. So, just like a normal flechette, except it's made out of screws, since this is a handmade weapon. So here is that laser sight on this lever action shotgun, and I'll go ahead and show it off in the shadow here so you can actually see it with my EMB. This actually has a functioning laser pointer, and you use the point of the laser to aim. So, pretty cool. Also have the rail slugs on this thing so you can really get a nice pinpoint shot with your newly added slug. Then additionally, we have those binoculars, which they are indeed binoculars. Not going to help a whole lot with aiming, but they're there, and I think they're pretty funny. And now then, of course, it is time for our damage test. We'll be doing 3 tests today. One with the standard version of the shotgun with no perks and no attachments, just to see how the weapon performs on its own. And then we will try out a fully upgraded version with the best receiver and best ammo type. And then we'll be trying out the unique Darcy at the end, just to see how she performs with that interesting plasma twist to the normal shotgun. Now then, starting with the regular shotgun with no perks, let's see how this weapon does. As you can see, 5 shots in and the Deathclaw is still kicking. We're gonna have to shoot this thing for a little while here. And that Deathclaw is down in 14 shots. With all things considered, that's not a bad ammo count to take down a Deathclaw. However, with the rate of fire of this weapon, that's going to prove pretty difficult to actually do that in combat. Let's see how we do with a fully upgraded receiver and the best ammo type. And with 5 shots, we almost take the Deathclaw down, needing an extra shot to actually put him down. So definitely worth throwing on the extended tube to get that 8-round magazine capacity. And then finally, we have Darcy with a plasma-infused shotgun shell. Let's see how it does. Slightly underperforming compared to the coin shot. However, you can actually throw coin shot onto this weapon on top of the base damage. So if you were to do that, it would actually outperform both of the other 2 weapons, which is kind of what a unique should do. So yeah, guys, that is the Handmade lever action shotgun by myself and Jagged Josh. This was a whole lot of fun to make. Thank you for everybody who contributed to this mod, and a big shout out again to all of my patrons and all of you guys for supporting me throughout my modding process. It has been a whole lot of fun making this thing, and I'm already having a whole bunch of fun making the Frommer stop as well. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you want to try this mod out for yourself, it will be linked down in the description below as always, and there will be an Xbox link coming very, very soon. With that, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to drop a rating, consider subscribing for more videos just like this, and to check out some of my future mod projects, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Peace!